on page 73 of my guest's book. This is the book we are looking at, written by Dr. Oluranti Afowowe of the Department of History and International Studies, Osun State University. On page 73, you listed the members of that committee.
Yes, sir.
It's important that Nigerians should know some of these names, because these names, some of them came up again.
Yes, sir.
Oladipo Diya chaired the committee.
Yes.
Another member of the committee was Tajuddin Olarenwaju.
Yes, sir.
At some point, Abacha dealt with him too.
Yes, sir.
As a co-pilot. He said he was
in
a co-pilot.
1997 fatal coup.
Brigadier General Chris Ali was member of that committee.
Yes.
Brigadier David Mark,
yes,
who later became Senate President. You know, David Mark has always been there.
Yes.
And Commander FBI Pobeni was there.
Yes.
Air Commander N.E. Udwok and Colonel Lawal Gwadabe. Abacha also dealt with Gwadabe.
Yes, sir. You know, after a time, by the time they were making our committee, eventually interim government was removed. It was Jadia's effort that made Abacha head of state. It was incontrovertible. It was seen that because the rank and file of the military did not want him. But sooner than, when you now go into office with an agreement that it was going to be a collegiate kind of system, whereby it will not be taking decision on its own as a supreme commander, that they will sit as committees to approve everything. And that was what they were doing initially. But soon after they were doing this thing, different strengths began to set in. You know, Nigerian elites live on patronage. And they always want to consolidate themselves with whoever is in power. It's like what is happening in Nigeria now. I mean, you have what is spirit of defections. And it's the same story. You know, when you are in power, you are, I mean, this my Professor Klodake already explained it. To be in power is for you to have everything. To be out of power is for you to lose everything, including your life and property. So, by virtue of that nature of Nigerian state, everybody now wanted to be part of what was in existence.
You know, having submitted that report,
yes, sir,
Babangida knew that the military wanted him out.
Yes.
Eventually, June 12th election was organized.
Yes, sir.
And that election was annulled.
Yes, sir.
What was Diya's position about the annulment of that election?
Well, like I've told you, because of the 1990 coup, he was no longer a member of the Armed Forces Ruling Council. So he was not a part of any of the decisions to annul any election. He was, I mean, outside the system. And that was why when they were playing politics, that was why they could bring him in as chairman. Because he was not part of those who did the job. That was why the military accepted him. So when the thing occurred, it was helpless, other than operating within the ambits of the military. And it was that same committee again that now said, look, enough is enough. If we don't do something quickly, the image of the military will become will be destroyed.
So by this time there were different factions in the military.
Of course, there were different factions after the annulment of there were at least 3 clear different factions in the military. One, there was a faction that believed that it is not just about June 12th annulment, that the whole political transition program of General Babangida was fraudulent. That it was the fraud, the purported fraud that purportedly happened in June 12th, that people were bought with votes and rest. That is also happened in gubernatorial election. It also happened in primaries that brought in the General Sani Abacha as candidate of SDP and Shinkafi as NLC. That was annulled. That what they needed to do is to have a total reorganization of the transition program, such that it is not just the June 12 people that will be appeased, but those that have been wrong too earlier will be appeased. And therefore, there should be a total reorganization of the political process to create a level playing program for everybody. That was a fashion. That was another fashion that said, look, what happened is that the entire political class itself has problem. And because they have problem, something has to be done to ensure that the process not only take care of those who have always been there, but there should be a kind of long-term reorganization that will take longer period for the ministry to come. The third fashion, the third group was the group that said, look, actualization of June 12th immediately, that General Chief MKO Abiola should be installed back. And that group was led by Colonel Abubakar Umar,
who was an IBB man.
It was believed that he was an IBB man because he actually went to confront General Abacha.
Abacha wanted the annulment of the election.
As at that time, from the facts available to me, Abacha was immaterial.
Why did you say that?
He was not in control of anything. He was Minister of Defense, and there was an interim. After the annulment of the something, he had been quote edged out of in quote operational power.
By this time, Diya was the chief of defense staff.
Yes, when interim regime came, Diya was appointed chief of defense staff.
When interim regime came,
he became chief of defense staff. Guso was chief of army staff. So it was those people, Guso, Dongoyaro, Jandiya, that were really in power, that controlled the military power.
Why did Umar confront Abacha?
He confronted Abacha because he wanted Abiola to be installed back as as authentic what's it called, president of Nigeria. But it was also in the knowing that immediately he confronted, he was arrested right there in his office
for daring to confront his superior.
And within an hour or two, General Babangida got him out. He was never sent to any detention.
So how was that interpreted in some quarters in the military?
Well, they believe that probably Colonel Abubakar Muba was carrying out agenda of General Babangida, believing that if he was able to install Abiola back to power, given the rancorous situation and what has happened, particularly within the political elites, that it will be difficult for political vendetta not to take place, and that a kind of a criminal situation will emerge that will now lead to the invitation of Babagida, and that was why they argued. I said he was stepping aside. That was a process meant to bring him back. That was why they were suspicious of Colonel Umar Abubakar's position.
You have mentioned that before the June 12th election and its annulment, there was already an annulment.
Yes, there was annulment. That was even the argument of a faction of the military.
Yes.
That why Abiola should not be restricted.
Yaradua won the presidential ticket of the SDP.
Yes.
Babangida annulled it.
Annulled it. At that time, there were two. You have SDP and NRC.
Yes.
The SDP already conducted its own. The contention now was between Shiroma and Shikapi
in NRC.
That was when he said no, he didn't want politicians. I want new breed politics. And annoyed what they call old politicians.
So the new breed became MKO and Tofa.
And it was even argued that what election are you really, June 12th, are you really talking about? Part of the allegation was that Tofa was not even qualified to contest as a candidate. He didn't have a voting, he was not registered as a voter.
You said here the NRC picked a candidate that was not qualified to contest.
Yes.
That candidate was Alhaji Bashir Tofa.
Yes.
He allegedly had no voters registration card.
Yes, yes, no, and in modern, in franchise, you must be a registered voter for you to be a candidate.
Now, I want to know why you wrote this as part of this analysis. You said politicians are usually blinded by their self-interest.
Very true.
The politicians that were not on the winning side of Abiola presidential ambition,
Yes.
saw no reason why they should not collaborate with General Babangida to truncate Abiola's presidential ambition efforts,
Yes.
especially with the promise of juicy political appointments by the regime.
Very correct.
You said here renowned nationalists began to identify with anti-democratic forces.
Yes, sir.
Jerry Okoro and Otto Nzeribe, Inspired Association for Better Nigeria,
Yes, sir.
got the late Justice Basi Ikpeme to give a spurious injunction that provided the legal excuse for the annulment
Yes,
of the
sir.
June 12th presidential election.
Very true.
You continue. Not left out of the political calculations were Samuel Ikoku, Tanko Yakasai,
Yes.
Margaret Ekbo.
Yes.
Why are you telling us these names?
Well, it's documentation of history. If you go back to history, if you look at the pedigree of all these people that we mentioned, Samuel Koku from the First Republic, he was a radical politician. Of course, we knew there were allegations of, but that is not our concern now. But these are people that has developed credibility over a period of time. And when you have a regime that lacks, in quote, legitimacy, what they want to do is to find people that has credibility to associate with them. And there are always ways of persuading them to be able to do what they wanted to do. You know, I was trying to say that, look, what has been happening in the past is what is happening now. You discover that it's the same thing that is happening. All they need to do is to look for someone who is close to you and make you offers that you cannot reject.
Offers you cannot reject.
Yes.
And there are still offers that people cannot reject.
That's what they do. That's what they do.
So basically the polity has always remained the same, the character of the polity.
At least our political elite it has always been the same. Either the military elite or the political elite, they are one and the same.
And that kind of polity cannot create room for development.
At all. It cannot create room for, because ultimately what is at stake is not the national interest. What is at stake is myopic self-interest. You know, what is in it for me? All other things about nationalism and everything was just a cover, you know, for them to be able to do what they want. I mean, you are part of the Nigerian state. You know what is happening. How people have been saying they are fighting for Nigeria. All of a sudden, you see them changing their positions.
You also made mention of a third factor. Here, you said third, the heavy casualty in the Liberian war suffered by the Nigerian military interventionist forces was becoming a source of strain on the military.
That's true.
An appreciable number of officers and men felt that continued military rule would perpetuate the Liberian war.
Yes, sir. If you look at the Liberian situation, you know Nigeria spent over $12.5 billion, if I'm not wrong, in terms of monetary investment. And many officers were losing their lives, even on the field in Liberia, fighting a war that nobody has defined the interests of Nigerian state in it. And so when you have a military being involved in that something, it normally creates problems at home. Because officers who have seen their friends, their colleagues die in such war do not want to go there. And so there could be rumblings that may want to truncate that regime. And they knew that as long as the military regime that was in power then remained, because of their vested interest in Liberian war, that the war will continue. That again provided why they want that military out. So that's it was just to corroborate the point that it was not just about June 12th actualization that made them to drive away Babangida. There were other undercurrents. That's one of those undercurrents.
Now, Babangida, having caused almost a state of anarchy,
Yes, sir.
was eventually pushed out.
Yes, sir.
Ernest Shonekon became the leader of the interim national government.
Yes, sir.
And Oladipo Diya was appointed the chief of defense staff.
Yes, sir.
At this time, he became the most powerful military man in that government.
That's true.
Abacha was still around, right?
Yes, Minister of Defense, yes.